Hi friends, today I wanted to talk about why I decided to start a YouTube channel instead of doubling down on my day job. Welcome back to the channel. I feel like it's been a minute since I've done a little intro. It always feels so awkward and cringy to be like, hey, I'm Kate. But I'm Kate. I talk about all things life and finances as a single woman in my 30s living in Toronto, Canada. And I mostly talk about money and career, but I also love chatting about minimalism and simple living and also just life and relationships in your 30s. So if that sounds good, I hope you stick around. Now let's get back to the topic at hand. And I wanted to talk about this today because I've definitely mentioned in prior videos that if I were just interested in earning more money, then YouTube is probably not the way I would have gone. I think my attention and focus would be much better spent focusing on my day job. And I think that advice applies to most of us. Yes, side hustles have a time and a place, and I still do side hustle myself. I do some contract work outside of my day job, which earns me a few extra $1,000s a year. And I also do have this channel, which does technically bring in a small amount of income. So I'm definitely not against side hustles at all. I just think that for most of us, if our long-term goal is to earn more, then most of our time and energy should be spent doubling down on our 9 to 5s, focusing on growing our careers, doing courses or certificates to upskill so that you can get raises, so that you can get promotions, job hopping to higher paying jobs. You're probably better off figuring out how to earn a few extra dollars an hour or an extra $5,000 a year at your job than spending your time and energy on doing a bunch of side hustles. And I definitely count myself in this group of people. I currently work as a UX researcher and I am an IC, an individual contributor. And there are probably a lot of ways I could move up in my career, even just by becoming a more senior level UX researcher. So if I were to become a staff or principal UX researcher, that would probably come with a pay bump. But also if I was to move into a managerial role, like a UX research lead or a UX manager, those would also probably come with pretty significant pay bumps. So if I were just interested in the money, that's definitely where I would be spending my time. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, why I'm not even following my own advice to focus on my 9 to 5 and what some of those reasons are as to why I started a YouTube channel instead. The first reason is that I actually really like my current job. I don't want to move up a ton. And when I'm telling people to focus on their day job or double down on their day job, that often means job hopping and moving to a higher paying job. It often means getting promoted to a role with more responsibility. It often involves more training. And I don't really want to do any of those things right now. I really love my company. I love my team. I love my product org. I love the product designers I work with. I really love my bosses. No job is perfect, but all around, I actually just really like my current role. But there isn't a ton of upward mobility in my current position. There isn't really a lot of places for me to get promoted to. And also, I like being an IC. It's really nice not having managerial responsibilities. And so for right now in my career, I'm very happy with where I'm at. And I'm not looking to switch to another company. And there also really isn't a way for me to move up significantly in my company. And so when I was thinking about ways of making additional money, I realized I would be kind of limited in my day job and I would probably have to look elsewhere. And I really did think some time about doing some contracting or consulting work in UX. And I actually think during times of economic uncertainty, this probably could have been a pretty good opportunity because companies might not want to commit to hiring permanent full-time staff, but they might have, smaller, more delineated projects that they want done and they just want to contract that out. So I definitely think there would have been some decent opportunities. And I definitely did consider that for a minute. The reason I didn't go down that path is because I ultimately realized that I'm already living and breathing and thinking UX research 40 plus hours a week. And I didn't really want to spend my nights and weekends also doing that same kind of work. I'm already working with multiple different product teams. I'm already designing multiple research projects a month. And I feel like I've just been super immersed in this world for the last 3 years since I decided to make the switch and move into tech and move into UX. My boot camp was very immersive and now I'm on my second full-time role in UX. So, I already just spend my entire week thinking about this. And what I was realizing was that I wanted a break. So the idea of a side project was fun and interesting. I just realized that I didn't want it to center around user experience. I was really drawn to the idea of doing something totally different, doing something more creative. And that's kind of what led me to YouTube. It was a new challenge. I had never made videos before, edited videos before. I'd never really talked to a camera before. So it presented the opportunity to do something totally different from my day job and also maybe make a little bit of money on the side as well. The second reason why I decided to pursue YouTube is that because although the prospect of earning a bit of money from it was really exciting, it also wasn't the most important thing to me. I wasn't in dire need of a side hustle to pay my bills or pay down high interest debt. Like, I didn't really need the money. It would have been a nice bonus, and it is a nice bonus. I'm actually coming up to my 6-month mark monetized, so I'm going to make a video in a couple weeks with a little income update. Definitely subscribe if you want to come back for that. But it wasn't like I needed this money to pay my rent or afford my cost of living. So I was able to go into doing YouTube with the mindset that if I don't make any money from this, or I don't make any money from this for the first year or the first 2 years, then that's totally fine. And I think if you're in a position where you are really trying to aggressively save or pay down debt, then there's probably lots of other better, easier ways to make that than trying to do that on YouTube. And there really is no guarantee. There are so many creators on the platform who are not monetized. A lot of people who have been making content for 2, 3, 4, 5+ years and have never earned a penny from their content. So I recognize that that was a very real possibility. And the only reason I pursued YouTube is because I was ultimately okay if that did end up being the outcome. Now, that kind of segues into my third reason, because although making money wasn't the most important thing in the world to me, I have to admit the thought of working on something that has unlimited upside potential was really interesting to me. And that does describe YouTube and content creation. There's a really good chance you'll make $0 from it. You might make a couple $100s a month, but you might make $5,000 a month. You might make 20 grand a month. That's not unheard of. There are absolutely people on social media making that kind of money. And although it was never my goal and is not my goal to become a big time influencer or anything like that, I did think it was interesting to work on a project where there really is unlimited upside potential and there is no cap on what you can make. It really is about what you produce and the amount of time and energy and effort you put into crafting videos and improving your craft and learning your audience and learning the algorithm and just tweaking and finessing and optimizing. And it's almost that it just presents a really fun challenge. It's almost like a puzzle. I like the idea of working on something where, you get out of it what you put in. And for most of us in our day jobs, the amount we earn isn't really going to be radically changed by our performance. And of course, there are some exceptions. If you work in a commission or sales-based job, of course, like that's a completely different story. And even for me, there are some things that are somewhat subject to change. And even my raises and yearly bonuses are affected by my performance. So there's definitely a small element of that. But for the most part, I'm a salaried employee. I get paid what I get paid, and there isn't really going to be a radical shift in that. Whereas YouTube is something that you might make $0 from, but you can make 10K a month from. And that's wild. I just really loved the idea, honestly, of working on something where I could put in differing amounts of work and effort, where I could, make some videos where maybe I don't care about the outcome and I don't care if it hits the algorithm. I just want to do it for fun. But then, if I did decide to become more strategic about it and really try to niche down and really try to do all the right things, then would I see the yield from that? Would I then start making more money? And so it really just felt like this interesting puzzle. And ultimately, I just really liked the idea of pursuing something where there is unlimited potential to earn. And let's say I did decide to just focus on my 9 to 5 and I did want to double down on my career and focus all of my energy and attention there. There's a very clear ROI. I know that there are certain things I could do or certain jobs I could take that would lead to, probably an extra $10,000 a year. There are other things I could do to earn an extra $25,000 a year. And that path is very clear, which in some ways feels like a no-brainer because it's like, well, Kate, just do that and then you'll make an extra 20K a year. But there is always going to be a cap to that. There is going to be an upper limit, an upper boundary to what you can make working a 9 to 5. Whereas working for yourself, it's really the opportunities are endless. And that brings me to my fourth and final reason why I decided to start a YouTube channel instead of doubling down on my day job. And that is because I really just wanted something for just me. I wanted something completely separate from my day job and even something completely separate from my identity as a UX researcher. And YouTube really fits the bill. It's a passion project. I get to talk about whatever I want on here. I get to explore whatever topics I feel like. I get to connect with an audience. I get to build this little mini brand. And if something did happen with my 9 to 5, like if I did ever get laid off, this is just mine. This is something I get to take with me. It's something that no job can take away from me. And so that's really comforting, especially in these trying economic times. I feel like there's so much instability and uncertainty. And as much as I hate the idea that we, should all have multiple side hustles, and I just really reject that idea. I also don't think it's ever a bad idea to have your own thing, to have your own little, side income, something that's separate from your day job, something that you will still have no matter what, even if something does happen with your 9 to 5. So those are the 4 reasons why I'm not following my own advice and why I decided to start content creation instead of just focusing my efforts on my 9 to 5. And I really think it can be a fantastic option for people who don't, really desperately need the income, would love to earn a little bit of extra money, but it's also not the end of the world if it doesn't work out, or if you just want to do it as a passion project and create videos, then I think YouTube is a great outlet. Now, is it definitely absolutely going to be the best side hustle ever? No, probably not. There's probably going to be a good stretch where you're not making a dime from it, and you have to be prepared for that. So I think if you're in a position where you really need the money, focus on your day job, focus on other side hustles that are going to have that immediate ROI where you know that you are going to reliably earn an extra $200 a month or $500 a month. Do that if you need the money. But if you do have the time to build something, if you like the idea of learning new skills and being creative and building a community online and building up your own little brand, then I think YouTube can be great. It's probably just not the best way to make money. And if you are an aspiring content creator or you are currently a YouTuber or content creator, let me know your thoughts down below. And I would love to hear why you decided to start content creation. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.